Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are. Remember, you have greatness inside of you. Welcome back to another Habs Daily News with your hockey coach, Coach Frenchie. Today, episode number 87. We're going to talk about KIRBY DACH contract. Who is the next captain for the Montreal Canadiens? Habs prospect continues to update you about the HLINKA-GRETZKY Cup. Finally, NHL news around the league, signature happening yesterday in NHL. So don't go nowhere. But before we start, you know the drill. Please click on the like, subscribe to the show, and below this video, tell me what you think about this episode. And let's dive in about the first news of the day, KIRBY DACH contract. So the first thing I want to mention, guys, is compare KIRBY DACH with other players when they got their contract. First of all, Sam Bennett, when he got 21 years old, he got a goal average per game of 0.19. His number, the point per average per game, was a 0.4. He got a 2-year contract at 1.9. Philip Shedil, he got 21 years old last year, and he was an average of 0.18 goal per game and 0.38 point per game. Robert Thomas, 21 years old, 0.13 goal per game and 0.51 point per game. That's the most of the players I'm talking about. He got a contract at 2.8. Kako, 21 years old, he just signed a contract this year at 0.17 goal per game and 0.37 point per game, and he got a contract at 2.1. Now, KIRBY DACH, 21 now, he's looking to sign his contract. His goal per game is about like Thomas at 0.13, but his point per game average is at 0.39. So when you look about each one of them, it's a little bit similar at Bennett, but Bennett was like 5 years ago. Now we are 2021, you can have 2.1, 2.3, 2.8. So what do you expect, coach? I'll be honest with you, the best contract would be 2.3 for the Montreal Canadiens for DACH at 2 years. Can he go to 2.5? Possible. But I don't see him right now to getting under $2 million. So I just want to sharing with you guys is the way KIRBY DACH is ready for his new contract. Definitely he's going to sign his contract for the next couple of weeks. So it's something we have to follow up. Let's move on for the next news of the day. A lot of people talk about the next captain. He's getting more hotter. We know during the summer, a couple of months ago, they mentioned about the Montreal Canadiens going to have a captain next season. And a lot of names, it was out. I come to you this morning with 3 names, and I'm going to explain who they are, the reason they could be the next captain, and the reason why we have to be careful. First of all, I want to talk about Brendan Gallagher, the number 11. He's been with the Montreal Canadiens for over 10 years. He played over 638 games. Second players behind Carey Price has the most longevity with the Montreal Canadiens, and we know he's a leader on ice, off ice, great teammate around the locker room, and I think that's a great candidate to become a captain for the Montreal Canadiens. Now, the negative side of Gallagher is, of course, his style of the play. How many times he got refused a goal because he's in front of the net and pushing and goalies and interference penalty in the crease, we know that. Then the relationship with the referee are not always great with Gallagher. We know that referee are always pay attention to Gallagher in front of the net. We know sometimes it's not pretty. Gallagher could be someone where he could become the captain for the Montreal Canadiens at some point. Let's move on now, guys, on my second players for the next captain for the Montreal Canadiens. And I'm talking about Joel Edmondson. The teammates call him the Steady Eddie. What? Yeah, that's what his nickname for the Montreal Canadiens. Why? First of all, his consistency on the ice. He always gave his best, and most of the game is really solid on the defensive zone coverage. He really respected by his teammate and by the entourage people around the Montreal Canadiens. And finally, he's a leader on ice, off ice. He's calm, That's not a guy with a lot of emotions during the game, so he's really controlling everything he can control, and you can see by his body language from the bench and on the ice what Jordan Emerson is. We know he won the Stanley Cup 2019 with the St. Louis Blues, so it'll be interesting if the Montreal Canadiens going to consider to select Joel Edmondson. And finally, we have Nick Suzuki. This is the future for the Montreal Canadiens. They expect him to be really the player who will carry on this team for years to come. He just signed a contract of 8 years at $7.875 and start this upcoming season, 22-23. And he's a #1 center, really mature for his young age, for 22, turn 23 very soon. And it could be another great candidate for the Montreal Canadiens. Now, I just want to remind you, Ken Hughes and Martin St. Louis mentioned they would like to have a captain next season. Now, remember, Gordon, when he was with the Boston Bruins, said the great thing happening to Patrice Bergeron when he showed up with the Boston Bruins is he got a lot of leadership by Mark Ritchie. Ritchie teach really Bergeron to become a great leader inside of the Boston Bruins and to learn to become a professional as a hockey player. So for me, that's opened my eyes. Can we see the same way with the Montreal Canadiens, where Gallagher or Emerson can become great teacher for Nick Suzuki for 1 or 2 years, and then after that, move the captain, or the Montreal Canadiens will select right away Nick Suzuki at 23 years old. They have some advantage or disadvantage for any of the candidates which is mentioned to you. And if I was my selection, my choice, I would go with Brendan Gallagher. I feel like he would be a great transition from Gallagher to Suzuki about at 25 years old. I don't see Gallagher to be with Montreal Canadiens for the next 3, 4, 5 years. I believe at some point he's going to be traded, and I think that would be the great moment for Suzuki to step up. Of course, many of you will say Nick Suzuki is ready to rock and roll this captain. We'll see. Like I said, it's only my opinion and my suggestion about the next captain for the Montreal Canadiens. Let's move on, guys, for the next news of the day. Let's talk about the Habs prospect under 25 years old. Impressive for the Montreal Canadiens, guys, because they have 51 prospect players under 25 years old. That's a lot, honestly. They have right now 30 forwards, 16 defensemen, and 5 goalies. This is the future of the Montreal Canadiens. This is the most prospect Montreal pipeline they have in the history since the beginning of the Montreal Canadiens franchise. Just give you an idea, Montreal for the last 3 years under Marc Bergevin and under Ken Hughes and Jeff Gordon, they're really focusing on the draft picks, and you have the result now, the 51. And the next couple of days, I'm going to give you my top 25 of my prospect Montreal Canadiens. So stay tuned. Follow me every single day with my Habs Daily News to know more about 51 prospect Montreal Canadiens. Next, move on, guys, for the next news of the day. Let's talk about the HLINKA-GRETZKY Cup 2022. Update you. It was day number 3 of the tournament, and Canada beat the Slovakia by a score of 9-1. Where the Finland beat the Germany by a score of 4-1, and finally we have the Sweden beat Swiss by a score of 9-3. This is the 3 result of the day. Of course, it's not over yet. Day number 4 start today, and then we have until August 6th for the winner. So this is the last preliminary round of this tournament today. More information tomorrow for the next video, the Habs Daily News about the HLINKA-GRETZKY Cup. Let's move on now for the NHL news around the league. What happening in the last 24 hours? Here we go. First of all, Huberdeau and Wegar met the general manager of the Calgary Flame, Brad Pavelin, yesterday in Montreal for a nice dinner. Look like they want to meet each other and talking more about what their expectation for both sides. One for the contract for sure for the players, and for the Calgary Flames, it's all about what they're looking for upcoming season in Calgary Flame. And then great news for the Minnesota Wild because their all-star players, Kirill Kaprizov, return in USA, confirmed. So it's a great news. We know we have some difficulties for him to move from Russia to the USA, but now it's confirmed Kaprizov is in the United States. Finally, the Calgary Flame not only met Huberdeau and Wegar, but they signed 2 players yesterday. The Avwood arbitration hearing. It's Majepeni signed a 3-year contract at $5.8 million. That's a bit over $17 million total. And then Kellington, the defenseman, signed a 2-year contract at $2.5 million per year for a total of $5 million. So really busy day for the Calgary Flame. I want to finish this episode with a NHL trade bait for August. So I expect some move in the next couple of weeks, fix their salary cap for its front team and possibly a bit of 1 or 2 mega trade before the season starts. And I feel Phil Kessel is possible to sign with Edmonton Oilers. I would not be surprised. Look like the Boston Bruins tried to trade Greg Smith. Chicago Blackhawks definitely looking to trade their captain Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane. Jacob Chikron, still a lot of talking about the fact that Arizona Coyotes could trade the all-star defenseman, 24 years old. The Toronto Maple Leafs possibly trade Justin Holl. We heard possible Kerfoot could be involved with this trade. We know they have to sign Ramis Sadin. Finally, Montreal Canadiens have to drop some salary cap, looking possible to trade Joel Armia. Some other people talk about Mike Hoffman. It's something we have to follow up. The Winnipeg Jet guys still don't know what's going on over there, but they tried shipping their captain Blake Wheeler somewhere around the league. Here we go, guys. This complete another video of the Habs Daily News with hockey coach, your coach Frenchie. But before we leave, we want to remind you, please click on the like, subscribe to the show, and finally, leave me a comments below this episode number 87. Until the next time, my friend, I want to remind you, of course, you have greatness inside of you. Have an amazing, blessing day, everybody.